So, Sarah, it's wonderful to meet you. Thank you so much for taking a minute out today. I appreciate it.
No problem. Happy to be here.
So, let's begin our conversation before we get into your work by asking you this. 5 years ago, this pandemic changed everything for everybody. How did you get through that time period, and how has it changed the way that you approach business and life today?
I actually love what happened during COVID. It gave my husband and I the opportunity to figure out how to work from home. And I think that we could relate with a lot of other people who really enjoyed the flexibility of being able to be an adult and take care of what you had to take care of, minus everything that was going on with the being scared of what was happening and that kind of thing. But the lifestyle piece, I think, has really changed the world in general about how we look at tackling our life and what is most important to us. And so it has actually shifted things to for me to be more audacious and more daring in how I look at work and not just a 9 to 5 kind of a thing where I bring home a paycheck to support my family, but really look at, do I like this? Is this fun? And is it fueling me? And I never really asked myself those questions before.
I think we all kind of came to this existential crossroads where we had to figure out what was the most important, what were we going to do. It was that real mirror reflection moment.
Yeah, I agree with
Yeah.
that. Yes.
So, let me ask you this. As the co-founder of Market Movers, I want to know if I put you in front of a bunch of 12-year-olds at career day and they wanted to know exactly what you did every day, what your career consisted of, how would you answer those children?
Easy. So for that generation, they all want to be YouTubers.
Yep.
So I would talk to them about how to become a creator and work with businesses so that you can fuel your YouTube channel lifestyle. And that's where I would start with them because that speaks to that generation.
It totally does. So what did you want to be at 12 years old? What was your dream?
I actually have always wanted to own my own business. Specifically, I remember in high school, I wrote a paper about the bed and breakfast I was going to one day own.
Okay.
And I even had a whole vision for it and everything. So it's interesting the work that I'm doing now. Very interesting how it has come full circle.
Well, so how did you get here? Take me back to where you were born and raised. What were the foundational seeds that were planted that made you want to be an entrepreneur and made you want to own a business and do what you're doing?
That's interesting. So some of this is going to have to be set aside for therapy, but we'll kind of
Great.
like get into that a little bit. I did not enjoy my childhood. I always wanted to be an adult ever
Yeah.
since I was little and could remember. And when I thought about what it was like to be an adult, it always felt very freeing to me. And the only thing I could think about as a child to be free was to have my own business and have my own timeline. Not even knowing what it was to own a business, I imagined all that is what it was like. So I was actually born in New Hampshire, about 15 minutes over the border from Massachusetts, where I grew up. And then I joined the military because I didn't want to go to college. And I felt like that was the only choice. I'm a millennial, and so I'm an older millennial. And when I graduated high school, it's you have to go to college. That was like really the only acceptable choice in culture. And that just didn't sit right with me. So I joined the army to give myself some time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you,
Uh,
no, go
mhm.
ahead.
Well, just that whole process changed me,
Yeah.
made me look at everything differently, made me look at life differently. I actually tell people I live my life backwards, I feel like a little bit. I did like all of my traveling, had a lot of crazy military experiences as a young adult. And then my husband and I met in Europe, started our first child was born in Germany, and then we started raising children together. So I feel like I got a lot of stuff accomplished that some people wait until they're older to do.
Yeah.
And so I spend the majority of my time now just building businesses because I don't really have any like bucket list items that I want to accomplish other than help other people grow. And I've had some pretty good successes throughout my career and just look to keep building off of those.
Who's been that hero for you, that inspirational force that's allowed you to succeed and become who you are?
Without sounding cliche, I am very dependent on the Lord.
Yeah.
So that's where I get wisdom. Back to a little bit of my childhood, I did not have great parents. I did not have any kind of model or anyone holding my hand through life. And so I have always looked to other people as they've come along, but my solid, steady rock has been the Lord leading me through life and learning to listen to Him and guide me. And I would say if I had to choose a person, um, I don't know if I don't know if I could think of one person
Okay.
right now. Yeah.
So let me ask you this. As an entrepreneur, as a business owner, is there someone that you look up to that you emulate that maybe you would like to talk to or ask some questions that would help you on your path?
Yeah, so I actually do have someone like that, and I've talked to him before. So Gary Vaynerchuk,
Yeah.
I have been a big fan of his. Not here more recently, just because I don't like some of his personal choices, but I have always looked up to him. I first read his book, some of his books, probably like 12 years ago now, and what resonated so much and made me start to follow him and was this fact that you can be kind and still be good in business. You can do right by people and still be good in business, which throughout my business career, that's not what I see a lot of the times. People aren't always kind in business. And so I was pretty devoted to him. For quite quite some time. In fact, while my husband was deployed for a few years, he knows that I don't like flowers, and so he actually reached out to Gary Vaynerchuk and had him do a motivational video for me to inspire me to keep going in my business development process while my husband was gone and I was raising kids alone. So I just look up to the way he does business. He's no nonsense. And he really just encourages you to stick with it. Because I think that's the biggest mistake that a lot of people make is like nothing has happened in 6 months, so this isn't right for me. But it takes a long time to solidify yourself and your network and business to become the success that you see others become.
So what motivates you to get up every day to do this work that you do at a high level and to take care of your own soul?
Hmm. I really want the resources to be able to help other people. So it bothers me that, you go through financial ups and downs in life and you see other people needing support and I don't have time to just give free time, right? I can't just give all this endless free time. And I would like to give more free time, or I would like to help somebody out if they need something. Because a lot of times people just need like one little push, one little something that takes them to their next step. And I would like to be able to do that for more people.
So if you were to run into the 18-year-old version of you ready to go out into the world and change things and get your career going, what advice would you give that young version of you based on the life you've led, the wisdom you've gained?
You don't need as much as you think that you need. We waste our money on so much stuff thinking, I don't know if it's culturally related to the idea of an American dream. But I would tell any 18-year-olds, um, we have a gut and we have instincts that we do not listen to. We actually do really good as a child listening to those, and as we get older, we somehow those are massively deteriorated. So I would encourage them to find ways to tap back into listening to your intuition, and going in that direction more specifically, regardless of what the voices are telling you, the outside influence or voices are telling you, and do so without buying so much stuff. You don't need that big house. You don't need that expensive car. You don't need to fill your house with a bunch of things. Because the biggest thing in business, I feel like that has hurt me is lack of cash flow. Because I'm trying to maintain all these other resources that I have thought I've needed in life, house, vehicle, stuff in my house, like I felt like, oh, these are things that we do But it has actually slowed me down quite a bit.
So there's the dream when you go in to be an entrepreneur or a business owner, there's this ideology that you have of what the dream's going to be like, what it's actually going to be like, and then it's what actually happens. What's been the difference between the dream and reality for you?
Well, I haven't hit the dream yet. So I don't know if the dream is a reality. I don't know where even the dream comes from. I would say in reality, we have to have more face-to-face conversations, uncomfortable face-to-face conversations with people than we think. And this especially, I think, is going to be harder for the generations coming up because it seems like the younger and younger, we don't want to. Like, I don't even like doing it, you know. But I feel like the reality is there's a lot of conversations that need to be had face to face, and that's how you create a network that you can tap into and use. And understanding that the world is smaller than we think it is, and how easy it is to burn a bridge. So understanding those things to me was is the actual reality of growing in business in a substantial way that nobody ever told me, and that was not part of the dream.
Yeah. Yeah.
But vitally important to grow properly.
So if you were to walk into a room of everybody that knows you in a business sense, a professional sense throughout all the years, and you could swim through that sea of people to a podium and tell them a fun story, maybe an interesting place that you were stationed at or went to in the military, or jumping out of an airplane, or the first concert you ever saw, just a fun story that might humanize you a little bit to a professional group. What would be a fun story that you would tell that room?
It would be the time that I was stationed in Bosnia for a short project. I had to go in and train a new group of soldiers that were coming in on my job. And we had to I was in finance, so we transported money in different currencies to different people, organizations within the military that needed it for different operations. So while I was in Bosnia, we had to take a Black Hawk to Budapest to deliver these funds. We're all, decked out in military gear. We're all armed. And the Black Hawk had a malfunction. And we landed in somewhere in Hungary. I don't even know to this day where. We landed in a field and we had to set up perimeter because we're like, where are we? We
Yep.
don't know. We just like military kicked in to protect ourselves. And the Hungarian military, about 3 hours later, came and picked us up, brought us to a school where we slept in cots. There were six of us on this trip, slept in cots in a gym. And the Hungarian military took care of us. And the next day we did some sightseeing in Budapest.
Wow. That's wild.
Yeah. I still I was 19,
Yeah.
right? So I'm just like going through everything. But now that I'm older, I'm like, what happened? Where were we?
Yeah.
I have nobody to reach out to even like find out about that.
Wow, that's wild.
Yeah.
That would be a great podcast if somebody would dig through the layers and do the research for you to find everybody, and you
Oh my
all would
gosh.
have these different ideas of what was happening. It would be a
That would
great
be
reunion.
so cool. That would be really cool.
That would be odd. There was a
Yeah.
show and it's not on anymore called Heavyweight, and they would do things like that. Somebody would throw an abject idea out, and this research team would make all these calls and find it, and I guarantee you they would track everybody down, and there would be a wonderful story that you all would
Oh my
have.
gosh. Yeah, probably pieces missing
Yeah,
like from so long ago. Yeah, that sounds incredible.
yeah, that would be totally fun. So let me ask you this. Of everything that you've done and accomplished and evolved to, more importantly, in your life, what are you the proudest of?
I I'm proudest of my kids. And I should say, I guess like I'm proudest of the kids that my husband and I have developed. We both have pretty crappy parents. And our oldest, we have two that are just entering adulthood. And the fact that they are so grounded in the Lord, they have so much wisdom. They're they have a great shoulder on their heads. And the fact that we did that without any external guidance from anyone in our family, I always tell my kids I can die now. So I'm happy I could die now.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. Everyone has a perception of you. Family, friends, clients, colleagues, everyone that knows you, but you run the show. What is your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
Oh my goodness. I think I am called to be a joyful leader and a resource giver. And I feel like I'm not doing the best job at that.
So let me ask you this. Having an adventurous spirit, being around the world, obviously with your story being in Hungary, I want to know if you could go back in time in a time machine and see one event in human history with your own eyes, and it wouldn't put a tear in time, it would just be you literally witnessing one thing happening. What would you love to have seen happen before your very eyes?
I would love to see Jesus resurrected.
Yeah, yeah.
I would love to see that. I feel like, there's so much hurt in this world because people are struggling over the fact that whether he is real or not. And I would love to be able to know that without a shadow of a doubt to help encourage other people.
So, what friend in your life, if that actually happened and you came back and told them that you actually witnessed that, what friend of yours would believe you?
My hiking group, I got a
Okay.
hiking group of ladies that were super close and we're crazy and we love each other for it.
And they would get it.
They would get it. They'd be
That,
like,
that,
awesome.
that's awesome. So,
Yeah.
if anybody wants to reach out, they have any questions, any of the good business in your world, where's the best place to go?
Best place is just my website, sarahstahl.com.
Okay. I will put that in the show notes. This has been great, Sarah. Thank you. Wonderful stories, wonderful insights. Best of luck. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.